Well, hello, everyone. I am Dr.B here in PowerTalk Ask the Expert. And as you know, I always bring amazing people into the show. I'm so sorry. Somebody rang the doorbell. I am so sorry, everybody. I am so sorry. But I have three amazing dogs, too, that love to bark and love to protect our home. So with me, I have an amazing person. As you know, I always bring people that add value. Add value. So as I said, I will edit this for you. I really apologize, and I'll edit it and I'll repost it again because I know my dogs got really excited because somebody came to the door and they kept ringing the doorbell. And most of the time they're pretty good during my show, but today they decided to bark. So again, I do have an amazing person. And as you know, I always bring people that will add value to your lives. Now I have Sharon Rolph, and she transitioned her behavior science master's degree and years of facilitating empowerment into being a retirement essence coach after retiring from Boeing in 2016. She loves to empower boomers to find a place to fit in, to matter, and to make a big difference. And she is the author, podcaster, and solo ager. I love that. You need to tell us more about yourself, Sharon. And thank you for saying yes and being here on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me, Dr. B. It's a pleasure to be here. And I need to get lots of word out about my new book coming up, Fresh Courage in Retirement. And Dr. B and I were both in a class kind of recently, and the moderator always asks, what are you known for? And I decided I'm known for courage because my book is called Fresh Courage in Retirement. And when I was doing my podcast, I searched probably 8 or 10 weeks to find somebody to talk on courage. They were hard to come by. So I think it's a message that needs to be heard. And especially after all this pandemic, we need some courage to move forward. And I was actually grew up on a farm in Eastern Washington. I milked cows and stacked hay, gathered the eggs, and I was the middle of 5. And being that I was the only one that went to college, it kind of felt weird that I felt invisible naturally as a middle child. That kind of comes with the territory. But because I was so unique and liking to learn, that made me pretty unique in the family because I'm the only one that's gone to college. So, but then my master's degree that I got in behavioral science was another uniqueness about me. And I just realized, I guess in the last 6 months, that bringing that behavioral science into retirement makes me ideally unique because all those financial planners talk about money. I want to talk about all that holistic side of the emotional transition, the mental challenge, the what do I do with all this time? So somebody used a term yesterday. We went from structured work days to unstructured time, and nobody told us we were now the boss of our schedule. And if you don't realize that, you kind of might get bored or depressed or invisible. Mm-hmm. And I don't want you to take 3 years to get out of the funk because if you're not growing, you're dying. Mm-hmm. The plants all around us are growing this, during summer. And maybe, have you heard the myth that within 3 years of retiring, you die?
Wow. No, I haven't.
I heard that at Boeing before I left, and I said, "Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame." And yet, I've talked to another young man recently, and his father told him, "I'm planning to check out in the next year, and you need to take care of your mom."
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and you know what? I kind of feel like I had that belief system just because when my dad retired, he passed away like a few years later. But I mean, I don't know how our brain just associates illness with retirement, you know. But I don't think it was because of retirement. It was because he was ill.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And well, so Edward Jones has started talking about the 4 pillars of retirement: health and family and money and purpose. So I'm all about trying to help people find that purpose. Here we go. Because with purpose, it doesn't necessarily tie into family. It may or may not tie into health. It can be affected by your money status, but purpose is so uniquely what's meaningful to us. It's tied to our values. And who talks about values? I actually did a term paper in my English class on values, and my professor, who'd been teaching like 20 or 30 years, had never had anybody write on that before. So when I am a retired coach working with people, we talk about values, and it's often tied to the things that matter most in our heart, and that's those unseen, inner-directed kind of things that are so unique to people.
Mm-hmm. And I really want to congratulate you that you're talking about from feeling invisible to the Queen of Courage, and congratulations for standing up and stepping into that courage, because a lot of people, and I'm one of them, you know, that I'm already thinking of retirement, believe it or not. It's like they're really close, like this year. But yet there's that fear of, like, I have all these businesses because I've always had side businesses. However, I also had that structure, you know, but it's that structure that when you leave it, you're fearing it because you're like, am I going to make enough money? Am I inflation? So all these questions are coming through. So what would you say to people like me that want to retire, yet there's the fear of the finances and the structure?
Well, I met with my Edward Jones lady yesterday, and you know what she had said, I had funds to last me to 93. Well, I intend to go to 100. But yesterday she said it lasts me to 90. I'm already 73. So I I retired at 69, and but my answer to you, Dr. B, is I refuse to live my life based on fear. So, you know, there was a wonderful release when I said, I'm doing the best I can, you know, and it shuts up all those critical voices that want to make you wonder and make you worry. I just don't go there. Now, I don't want to be, you know, a fool and not thinking about what could happen, but there's been a lot of fear in our life this last year, and that's why we need courage. Is let's get that behind us and think about, okay, my favorite word is curiosity and possibility. So what could happen to make, in fact, who did I hear say that if you turn something, I can't afford that, into how can I afford that, your subconscious goes to work for you and helps you figure out what's the answer for Dr. B.
I like that. I like that you have to reframe your questions that you're putting out, right? Like, what am I going to do? Well, instead of that is, what can I do differently? So that you can reduce the fear and then step into that courage of retirement, because that's something you talk about, right? You talk about the retirement piece. So what would you say to to people that, like, how can you support them? How can you help them?
Well, in fact, this came up yesterday in a podcast that, well, actually it was this morning, where I'm going to start trying to reach out to the younger people who have parents they'd like to see live long enough until their grandkids get married or get out of college or something. And as young people, we can kind of see a blind spot in our parents that they can't see themselves. So if you know of people who are kind of slowing down and becoming depressed or bored or invisible, maybe you could bring up a conversation with them about, your vitality seems to be lacking. Are you as happy as you'd like to be? And maybe when I left my bowling job, I had started really appreciating a third party input because it's neutral usually. And third party input can help us see our blind spots or what's missing or what we're not willing to admit. And so I'm going to start asking, being on podcasts where there's younger audience so they can help their parents prepare maybe for retirement. Because, when I did a podcast, one of the easiest ideas was a lady said, well, do what you did for charity. So if you've been at a bean counter, who needs their beans counted? If you're a pilot, who needs something delivered or somebody delivered? Find that's an easy way to transition until you figure out something else that gives energy.
I love that because I think everybody has a passion, and I think that we're always creating new passions. And then how can you even turn that into a business, like one of your passions, so that you can recreate yourself. And I really like what you're saying. I like it. What does it say? Passion has the ability to light a spark in all of us. Absolutely. It does. It does.
Yeah. And here's another one that kind of goes along with it. This definitely talks of courage, even though the word courage isn't in it. Let your feet follow your heart. That takes a lot of courage. And my Instagram, I do the Queen of Courage. I've been doing 20 of them. And I do courage to be seen, courage to do, and courage to be. So I'm surprised at how much content I came up with for that Instagram column.
I love it. Courage to, what is it? Courage
to be seen. Yeah, because how many times that we purposely play invisible?
Mm-hmm.
We don't speak up. Courage to do. So that's more action oriented. And because even reaching out to a neighbor, or some stranger, it's amazing how much just a smile sometimes makes somebody's day and changes their world. And then courage to be all, and that's your uniqueness. Be your unique self. I'm so loving how much we're seeing people we thought were sidelined people like Down syndrome and blind and hard of hearing are deaf. And we're finding ways. In fact, I saw where a high school over here has part of their cheer squad is 4 or 5 young people with Down syndrome. And they love cheering and bouncing up with the rest of them. And of course, most people know that Down syndrome people have lots of love and happiness.
And you know what? I'm a director of special ed. I mean, that's been my life for a long time. So I've worked with students that have, they have some type of handicapping condition or disabilities or something. But one of the things that I can tell you, they're extraordinary people. And I will be bringing somebody on the show really soon. She's extraordinary. She's a gold medalist that is in a wheelchair and has been doing so many things that able people are not daring to do. And she is winning all these amazing awards. So I'm going to bring her on the show. And I just wanted to call it out, because many times we should have the courage, because we have our legs, our arms, everything, the movement. And yet our interior fear stops us. And yet there's other people that are doing greatness, and they're capable because inside they're so empowered, right? So I love that you have stepped up into your courage, and you're encouraging other people that are retiring to do the same thing,
Well, and how many people do we know that are in wheelchairs or walkers, and they say, well, I can't do anything? Well, you could listen to somebody. You could be a pen pal. You could pray for people. I've often told myself, if I sat in a chair 24 hours a day, I still was no more loved, no less loved than the best I could do is sit in a chair for 24 hours. What I'm capable of doing does not add value to me. We think it does, but on the spiritual realm, there's no difference with your value in existing. If you're alive, you're existing for a purpose and a reason. And I want to help you wake up to that. What's possible?
I love it. Yeah. Because there's so many possibilities. For those of you that are listening with me, I have Sharon, and she talks about from feeling invisible to the Queen of Courage. So what I want you to do is make sure that you follow her, that you make any comments. If you have any questions, ask us the questions. And we're asking that you please share this content, because she is here to touch someone that's looking for her. And the only way that they can find her or even find me is by you helping us and sharing this video, because she's here helping people from feeling invisible to gaining that Queen of Courage energy that will be amazing and will turn their life around. So Sharon, I'm delighted you're here. I always ask my speakers that are here in the Power Talk, if they have a quote that either they made up or that they love, what quote would you say today to inspire people?
I believe it's by T.S. Eliot, and I saw this on the wall at work one day, and it speaks so much to the what's possible with potential. And it goes something like this: if one has a talent and has not used it, one has failed. If one has a talent and finds how to partially use it, one has partially failed. But if one has a talent and finds how to how to uncover the whole of it, one has gloriously succeeded and one of a triumph few people ever know. And to me, that's what's possible. Your exceedingly unusual talent can be life-changing for you mostly, and then for the people that you touch. And I wanted to also share a little tidbit of after I retired and I going through all the Medicare and Social Security and whatever, I started bouncing off the wall a little bit. And I thought, how do I know if I'm productive? Nobody's telling me what has to be done today. And I went back to my essence statement. That was the first thing they taught us in coaching school. And I think I have it here someplace, but it starts out with, I'm precious jewel of wisdom. I've always, so I love color, I love sewing, and I love words of wisdom. So what makes you happy, makes me happy is I'm surprised at how many people in retirement don't know what makes them happy. That's your first job in retirement. But I've heard this webinar from Andy Shaw out of the UK, and he was teaching on how to have mental strength. Sometimes when you're facing things that, I don't know if I'm enough, if I have enough confidence or courage or the right person for them to be interviewing, and he said the easiest answer to having mental strength was to remember something that gives you a warm feeling in your heart. And so he told a story of he'd always wanted to learn how to fly a plane, and he had a picture of his 4-year-old son in the back seat. He was giving his son a ride in an airplane, and that was so warmed his heart so much. And my main story that I had told what made me a warm feeling was my 3rd grade. I was a reader for their school program, and I was there's 3 of us, and so nobody told me how to do a good job, So I looked around and I thought, okay, people in front of the audience, they have to speak up. They have to speak slow enough so people understand them, and they need to speak and watch their audience a little bit. And after the school play, 1 or 2 ladies come up to me afterwards and told me I was their favorite reader. That warmed my heart. But a couple of weeks after this class, I went through and I thought, well, why just have one warm memory? Why not see how many I could come up with? And my list was 8 or 10 things. And the shock came when half of them were in front of people. Now, I'm at the end of my career, and maybe my career was supposed to be in front of people. So that has given me a lot of courage to become the queen of courage, in that maybe there was a different plan that I hadn't yet lived in my career that is unfolding today.
And one of the things that I'm going to ask people, to do, figure out today's a beautiful energy. And I always tell people, because I am into astrology, Sharon, I don't know if you know that, but it's the waxing crescent right now, and it's all about taking action. So figure out, what do you want to do today? What do you want to achieve? And then figure out 3 steps, figure out what are the 3 steps that I need, jot them down, and tomorrow or even today, take action towards those steps. Yes. And I can assure you that whether you're trying to retire or you're trying to come up with a new idea, you're trying to come up with a new project, or maybe you're trying to clean out your house, whatever it is, you have the power to decide those 3 steps and take action towards them, because you can create anything and you can achieve anything you truly desire. So Sharon, I know you're here to inspire people. What else would you like them to know?
Well, in relation to that, in fact, one of my blocks that I make, I don't think I have it close by, but it's going to be in my book. You'll know the next step once you take the first step. Well, back in my teenage years on the farm, when an idea would come to my mind, I thought, oh, I can't do that. And it felt like standing on the back of a flatbed truck and taking a step forward, and I might twist my ankle. It might hurt, and maybe that's not a good idea.
Uh-huh.
It would come to me again a week or 2 later, and I thought, well, maybe. But it seemed like it was still like 18 inches, 1 step. By the time it came to me a 3rd time, oh, yeah, I guess I could do that. So that might resonate with some of your audience. But the other thing is where I got the title Fresh Courage for my book and my podcast came from a Hallmark movie. They said when people go home after a vacation, they often go home with fresh courage. Boy, is that true. And so as you retire and have more time on your hand and you have ability to sleep in, and now it might be time to remember who you are. You're still that dynamite trombone player in high school, maybe, or you're still that best debater in your class or class clown. Maybe it's time to dust those off and say, that might still be in there wanting to be revived again and contribute to your neighborhood or I mean, how many people need to be listened to? I think a lot of the negative things that are happening for people is they just want somebody to hear them or to see them, right?
Exactly. I really love what you said. Remember who you are. I think that's powerful. And I think that you were talking to me, Sharon. So I really want to thank you that you came to the show because, I'm ready to retire. And then it's that, I know what I'm ready to do, but you get lost in the fear and the confusion and the what ifs. But this phrase you just said, remember who you are, it's really talking and speaking to my heart. And I'm hoping that it's speaking to other people's hearts, especially if you want to retire or if you feel lost in life. This phrase right here that Sharon said, just remember who you are, like reflect and just meditate on it. And then just allow the answers to come to you because they're healing words that will empower you and will give you the courage, like Sharon talks about, that you will gain that courage to take that next step, whatever it is. And as she said, taking that first step and then the next step will come to you if you don't know what to do. Sharon, you are a blessing to me and to many. And for that, I really truly, truly, I want to thank you because I know you are on this show today, not only to talk to my audience, but you're talking to me. You are talking to me. And that I don't really have a lot of words, but to tell you thank you. Thank you so much. I'm tearing. I feel like crying.
Yeah, I am very interested in being a speaker. I first started out being a what do I want to do in retirement workshop presenter at the senior centers around town. But I'm very much open to being an international speaker because I want to touch 10% of the boomers and impact them some way and inspiring them, motivating them, empowering them. My degree really fits very well with empowering people. And I teach people how to write their own essence statement. To me, that's a way of describing that spark that's inside, as a way of kind of understanding what your DNA is, because we're all unique inside. And then living our life from being inner directed is so powerful and priceless. That's what we need in this world.
I love it. So for those of you that are listening, connect with Sharon. She will help you develop and write that inner essence, bringing it out. So where can they connect with you and find you?
Okay, I have two websites, Effortless Vitality. Effortless Vitality is that stuff that comes from your heart, .org, or effortlessvitality.now, N-O-W, .site, S-I-T-E. That's my newer website. And with that second website, you more kind of identify I can kind of track with what she's saying there about my belief statements and what's possible. I think retirement needs to be disrupted and done in a new way. I have a Effortless Vitality Facebook page. I have a Retirement Wellbeing Facebook page, and I'm on LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram.
I like that. So connect with her, ask her any questions that you might have, and really tap into your essence, like she's talking about, so that you can pull out that empowerment, that courage, so that you could really express who you are. So that is amazing. And then for those of you that don't know me, I am Dr. B. I am the founder of PowerTalk live stream and the ultimate legacy builder. Really what that means is that I help people tell their story and turn it into a memoir, write a book, so that people will know you and you can leave a legacy that will outlive you. So Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for being here. And I will send you a link so that you can have this and share it with your tribe.
Thank you so much. What an opportunity. Appreciate it.
And I would love to invite you whenever I have my peer-to-peer mastermind. I'll invite you so you can meet a lot of entrepreneurs and then share your story there and connect with them.
I'd be delighted to.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. We will see you this Saturday. I will have Daniel Gomez with me, so you do not want to miss it. It will be at 10 a.m. Central in PowerTalk Ask the Expert. I will see you Saturday morning. Bye, everybody.